Time to feed the sharks and rays in Predator Bay, so sit back and let's get these guys fed, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the saltwater aquarium systems here in the Aquarium Main basement, and some future plans for the Aquarium Main basement annex and what that means to the shark tanks. Let's go. So I'm sitting here on the back side of Predator Bay, just checking out the scape. Towed up well. Definitely happy with the progress of the tank and the balance. Still have the adult groupers picking on the new guy a little bit. New guy eats and everything like that, so there's no problems there, but it is definitely not ideal that they still pick on him. But at any rate, I was thinking about, with the new basement annex coming, and the reality is Predator Bay was always supposed to be like a 3,000 gallon size tank, but couldn't really fit it in the room comfortably, so it ended up being 1,800 gallons. And it's a great size tank for sure, and these guys are very comfortable in here and they're doing great. But I can't help but think, with now that the bamboos have gotten up in that 4 foot range, this guy here, they fit in the tank, but they're definitely pretty big, I'd say I'm comfortable with them in here as they are right now, but I wouldn't be comfortable adding more, 4 foot sharks in here. I think it would be pushing it. I like the tank to have a comfortable look to it, and I think that would not look comfortable. So it has me thinking, maybe with the basement annex going on, maybe it's an opportunity to actually build the original Predator Bay. Well, I don't even want to cap it at 3,000 gallons, but let's just say considerably larger than the current Predator Bay. And then, of course, since this tank is perfectly set up for saltwater, it could be an interesting location for all the fish of the 1,500 gallon system to get promoted to. Could you imagine a reef in here, one done a more complex reef built for smaller fish, but also with those large tangs and large angels cruising the upper portions of Predator Bay, all that open space that a lot of times is unused with all these big sharks who are just sort of cruising the bottom most of the time. And of course, my ray, he likes to go up, but I'd like to have more rays. I mean, I was never able to get that white spotted bamboo shark, and I always wanted to get a blue spot stingray, and also a coral trout. It's a large form of grouper. It would be really cool to have, and I've talked about it many times, but wanting to add in the jacks and the grunts, the top water fish, that can coexist with these big sharks, but also fill up, the upper space of the tank. It's a tall tank, it's a huge tank, something that could fill that out, coexist with these guys, and bring that infusion of color, and I think just basically augment the tank even that much more. That, and who knows, I wouldn't mind getting another coral cat shark. I love those guys. So at any rate, that's just the thought. There's going to be some big tanks being built in the annex, and definitely having to plan some of them out. The biggest tank I'm building in there is actually already planned out. I know what's going in there, and I know how it's going to be built, and it's going to be quite interesting. But now I'm starting to think about maybe the pier tank to that one on the other side. Maybe it should be a saltwater tank. Maybe it'd be an opportunity for me to get another shark, another ray to add with these guys, another grouper, and like I said, those jacks and those grunts to get that nice top water action going. I was just sitting back and watching the 600 Reef Slope, and sort of thinking to myself, I wonder if these guys would like to live in Predator Bay. Not with the sharks, of course, and the groupers, but if it was their home, what would it be like having an 1,800 gallon Reef Slope? I don't know, there's full-size angels in here, there's Malingay tangs, there's some big fish. It is 600 gallons, but I don't know, I think 1,800 gallons could be even better. I don't know, just a thought, just an idea. I'll have to see. But for right now, I'm enjoying the heck out of these guys on the 600. In fact, I think they look hungry. And I also see a French angel who's switching from juvenile to semi-adult colors there. That's pretty cool. Let's give these guys some food. And the frozen food explosion in there. I like when it goes into the power head like that. It just gets broken up into a giant feeding cloud for everybody. Very fun to watch. I definitely look forward to feeding these guys every night. Just watching them go crazy. I get the camera a little closer, but they're surprisingly, they're not shy with me sitting here, but they are a little shy with the camera. They seem to be getting focused in on the food though now. I think they're pretty well situated. So yeah, what's got me thinking is I was gonna move everything from the 265 in here, but I do have some concerns, even in a large tank like this. I do have some concerns with some of the fish being very close duplicates. Now I've gotten away with it so far, you know, by having multiple dwarf angels and multiple species of clowns, and you know, pretty much every tang under the sun, as well as 3 full-size angels. But I do wonder at some point, would I be pushing my luck? As you know, these guys are just getting bigger and bigger. That just kind of had me thinking when I originally, you know, like I talked about, when I originally built or was building the 3,000 gallon. Well, hello. It was going to either be for sharks or for cichlids, and obviously it went cichlids, and I wanted to always build something of that size for the sharks. And as anyone who follows the channel knows, Predator Bay is 1,800 gallons, so a little more than half the size of the 3,000 gallon. And with the basement annex coming, I couldn't help but think, you know, maybe, sorry, I'm getting cat bombed in a video. I couldn't help but think with the basement annex coming that maybe that's an opportunity to go ahead and build a larger Predator Bay. And if I did that, of course, Predator Bay is already perfectly set up for saltwater. So it seems like the logical thing might be to move all these guys over there and just give them a mega home. It would be pretty cool. As much as it's cool watching the sharks swim around from my desk, it would be pretty cool watching these guys swim around from my desk as well. I don't know, just thoughts. Obviously, right now I'm still working on building the building, so there's no fish tanks to build yet, but there will be soon enough. And yeah, I'd like to kind of figure out the plan before I start building. Of course, I'll definitely do a video where I mock out the tanks in there, you know, the size of the tanks and locations, and get feedback, because it's a huge undertaking. It's always good to have other sets of eyes looking at it and not just leave it up to my choices, you know, kind of zoomed in or too close to it, I guess, you know what I mean? Seeing it every day, probably better to get a fresh set of eyes. But I already have some ideas of the size tanks I want to build in there, the styles. They're going to be pretty interesting for sure. Definitely no common tanks in there, and no little tanks either. It doesn't look like. It's going to be some beasts. Definitely at least a couple beasties in there that are going to be pushing the envelope. Also with new styles of filtration, basically lessons learned from all of these tanks, all the changes I've made over the years with these tanks. So we'll start off the new tanks with, you know, basically all the lessons learned being applied right at the get-go. So even better than these guys were when they first started out. But yeah, just thinking out loud in the video that 1,800 gallon Predator Bay would need a new name, because obviously Predator Bay name would go with the new tank with the sharks and rays. But that'd be a heck of a tank for these guys. That'd be something. All right, so we got some smelt and some squid tonight for these guys, and let's throw a couple pieces in and chum the water, so to speak. Shouldn't take but a second for these guys to smell it. Oh, there's a grouper, of course, has the first piece. And let's see, oh, let me get that out of the way. And looks like a bamboo. Yep, he inhaled it. All right, that's got some people's attention. There we go. Put some more squid in there. Or, yep, that is squid. And of course the sharks smell it, but they never look up. They always have to wait for it to come down. And here we go. Whoop. There's a good pass. And of course grouper gets a second piece. Another one for the bamboo. Come on, horn shark. What are you doing? And there's the big bamboo. Oh, they're both pretty big now. 4 foot and almost 4 foot. And rather than get the piece that's over here, the other guys will just fight over the same pieces. Pretty typical. Oh, there's the eel coming out. Let's see if we can't get him a nice piece of fish. All right. Put some more food in for the other guys so I can target the eel to see where he went to. Keep these guys busy with a little more squid and fish, and then once I find the eel, I'll target him with this fish I have on the tong. Oh, he's all the way over there. And he's found himself a big piece of squid. See if he eats it. Yeah, looks like, yep. He's happy with squid. And of course the grouper trying to take my fish off the stick for his 3rd piece already. Oh, let's see, does the eel want the fish? Nope, we'll throw it out for the grouper. Looks like the blue line grouper's eyeing it, but doesn't seem committed to it yet. Might be scared of the camera. Big tough grouper, and you're afraid of a little GoPro camera, huh? Well, we know the vacuum cleaners, I mean aka sharks, they'll take care of any leftovers. That is never a problem in here. Let me go target feed the other grouper since he's still being bullied to some degree from the other guys. So I'll put some in for him, and there we go. He's got himself a piece over there. Cool, so he's fed, so that's good. I like to chum up the other side of the aquarium before I go feed him and wait a little bit till the other groupers get fed. The only one who picks on him is the other groupers, so not the sharks or anything. So yeah, once these guys are fed a little bit, it is safe to go over there and get him fed. And we go ahead and just throw in the rest of this. Make sure that the stingray gets plenty. And there we go. Rest of it's in there. Let everybody else finish off. Pretty much the way these guys are fed for the most part is sort of a feast famine sort of thing, where they'll eat real heavy on a night like this, and then the sharks will go in the ray multiple days without a big feeding like this. I'll just do a little bit of supplemental feeding for the eel if he comes out. If the eel sees me and comes out and acts hungry, I'll always target feed him, and he'll always eat, so he's good about it. He's very good at showing me he's hungry, so I do that, and I also target feed the other grouper, the smaller one, to make sure he gets grown up. So, because there are some nights, the other groupers, give him the business. So I focus on making sure that he has plenty to eat as well. And like I've said before about the blue dot grouper, the one who's the odd man out right now in the groupers, is he ultimately will be the largest of the groupers. So it shouldn't be too long before he reaches a size to where the other guys don't bother him anymore. That was the case with the blue line and the Minneatus grouper. For a while, the blue line did the same thing, and then as the Minneatus got some size to them, it all stopped happening. So, and everyone's got their place. Key thing is they're all well fed and they've got plenty of space. So the two biggest things that cause contention, being hungry and lack of feeding territory, or mostly it's feeding territory. These guys all do like to have their certain places to sleep at night and everything, but the sharks, they like to sleep in a shark pile, and the groupers all have their own little niches. And since the rescape, there's been plenty of new niches for the groupers, so a lot of new spaces. Like an area like that, that's a cave a grouper likes a lot, and down there, and you can see they've dug out down there, so there's plenty of spaces for those guys. And believe it or not, even though there are large caves for the sharks, they all like to try to wedge themselves in the tightest little spaces. So it is pretty funny. But yeah, whatever works for them, whatever makes them happy, works for me. So at any rate, we see them in Predator Bay right now, an 1,800 gallon aquarium, and we've got roughly a 4-foot shark there and a 40-incher going that way. The coral cat shark, 24 inches, and the horn shark, probably 26 inches, something like that. But like I said, I'm comfortable with the tank how it is now, the size of everything, but I'm not comfortable adding in all the stuff I talked about. You know, the other sharks, rays, grunts, groupers. So it does have me thinking about a possible new Predator Bay build in the new basement annex. At any rate, those are the thoughts on the marine system for now. You know, so obviously I could leave this as is and it's pretty capped out. I'd probably add a few grunts to it and everything, but that'd probably be about it. I feel like it's got a bit of a balance now. And also I have to factor in that the horn shark's going to get larger as well. Everybody else is pretty capped out, except for the groupers, but I'm not too worried about that. So, you know, do I go with this and keep the Reef Slope, you know, where they're at, and do I pull the trigger on moving the guys from the 265 in with the other guys in the 600, or do I build a bigger Predator Bay, move these guys out there, get more sharks, more rays, more of these larger marine species, and then do I move everybody from the Reef Slope into here and create a 1,800 gallon, you know, it'll be a reef aquarium in the sense that it'll have reef fish and a lot of reef aquascaping. In terms of actual corals and stuff, there'll only be easy stuff, very easy stuff, but to me, as long as the corals accentuate the look of the fish, you know, and look like softies and green star polyps and mushrooms, things like simple things like that, they can do that. So that works for me, and that'll make me happy. With the tank, I think it'll look good, so that's a possibility. But yeah, definitely like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Then of course that does open up those, you know, the 1,500 gallon system. You know, that leaves the 600 over there, the 265 and the 700 gallon. You know, right now it's kind of the refugium sump, but it could be, you know, some kind of a pond or some kind of a, you know, another refugium type sump for freshwater, saltwater. A lot of possibilities. But at any rate, a big system that would then have to be backfilled with something if I did make those moves. So I don't know, we'll see. I can definitely see quite a few things going into that 600 gallon. That is a very interesting, tall tank. It's got a lot of presence to it. When you see it in person, it is a very fun tank to watch. Okay, well, just some thoughts in the fish room. Okay, definitely a lot to think about with this video. So I'll appreciate a lot of feedback on this one, because there's a big blank slate canvas being built out there, and I've got a lot of thoughts in my head about new aquariums and moving things around, but like I said, it's a big undertaking, so as much feedback as I can get is great, because it's one of those things, once you start building monster tanks, you're kind of committed to it, so you got to figure. So this is one of those measure twice, 3 times, cut once kind of deal. So got to figure out a good plan for that room and a good future for these tanks. And you know how it works here. We only do upgrades. None of these guys go backwards. If they get moved into another tank, it's because they're getting a big upgrade. So always looking out for the fish first, but want to make sure we figure out the plan ahead of time and hit the ground running in there, because I'm going to start building some mega tanks. But speaking of that, if you're wondering where's part 3 of the step-by-step DIY build, it's coming out real soon. It's probably the biggest step. I've been doing a ton of work on it. It's come a long way. Let me put it this way, it'll be worth the wait. So stay tuned, but it's probably the next video. And it'll be worth the wait. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you guys soon.